What's up everybody, it's your boy Sir Splash, and today we have a Star Wars video. This is me breaking down all 7 lightsaber forms and then ranking them from what I believe to be the worst to the best. Now, here's a couple things you need to consider when I do this. I will be considering these forms as you can only learn this one form strictly, nothing else. And there won't be any variations to the style like foot pod, that's not in this. Also, principles and usage are considered. So just because a style is used by one of the most legendary fighters doesn't mean that style is the best. Oftentimes there's special circumstances as well as fighters blended styles to become very dangerous. So I'm going to break down, first I'm going to introduce all 7, briefly talk about who uses them and stuff, and then I'll rank them from weakest to strongest. So first form is Shi-Cho. Shi-Cho is taught to all the Padawans when they first join the academy. It is somewhat basic, but can be very dangerous lightsaber combat style in which you use randomized attack sequences to get the better of your opponent. The ultimate master to me of Shi-Cho was Kit Fisto. This is pretty much the only style he knew, and he turned it into a very lethal randomized strike force, becoming absolutely dangerous when he attacked due to him being almost unpredictable. Also, on the lower end somewhat, we have A New Hope Luke. This Luke learned the basics of Shi-Cho. He could do a few things, but nothing too special and nothing that'll surprise you. Now next we have Form 2 Makashi. This style was created in a time where one-on-one lightsaber duels were prevalent. The most famous user of Makashi is Count Dooku. He's the one from, if you're a basic Star Wars fan, Sir Christopher Lee the GOAT portrayed him in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Another user is Shak-Ti, the Jedi, Shak-Ti, did I say G? I meant Shak-Ti. Anyways, the Jedi Master, who died like 30 times, but it always got retconned. But yeah, it's basically made to do one-on-one fencing style. Now, number 3 is Sarisu. This third form is considered the ultimate defensive form. Basically, it is a tried and true stonewall tactic to guard against the blade. The most famous user of Sarisu is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Another big user of this was Darth Bane, who added Sarisu and considered Sarisu very prominent, and Darth Zana, his apprentice, only used Sarisu. Now, number 4 is Ataru. This is an aggressive form, focuses on acrobatics to take your opponent by surprise and being on the offensive. By far the most famous Ataru user is Yoda, one of the lower ends, and someone that kind of had to deal with wear and tear because of it was Qui-Gon Jinn. In this form, young Obi-Wan Kenobi used, but he switched to Sarisu when he realized Ataru doesn't really have defense. Now, number 5 is Jin So. This style is stonewalling your opponent, basically not letting them push you back and then responding with stronger counter strikes. Anakin Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith, is famous for this form. Darth Bane, who we also mentioned, uses this, and Darth Vader. Number 6, Neman. Now, Neman is basically a jack of all trades, multiple faceted fighting style, equipped to basically be a pretty balanced fighter and a smart fighter. Examples of users include Darth Kaitis and Sin Dralig, the Battle Master from the Attack of the Clones era. Now, number 7, Juyo. Now, Juyo is the very ferocious ferocity form used mostly by Sith. This is an overwhelming attack, basically being a juggernaut. You could do this through finesse, or you could do this through sheer might. Now, users include Darth Maul. Darth Maul, especially in Episode 1, used Juyo very efficiently. And then Darth Malgus used Juyo as well as Jin So, but when he was unleashing crazy offensive firepower, it was through Juyo. Now, here we go into the weakest to strongest in my opinion. So coming in at number 7, last place, Shi-Cho. Why do I have it here? Shi-Cho is very basic and is actually not really made for a one-on-one engagement. It's more so made to learn basic lightsaber moves and to take on like blaster-wielding foes, multiple low-level assailants. Kit Fisto is an outlier with Shi-Cho in my opinion. He just turned it into like a crack baby style. So Shicho in itself as a practice, I have it in last place. Number 6, I actually have Ataru. Why? This form is actually very draining and very strenuous as a style. And it also, in my opinion, focuses on acrobatics over good blade work. Like I said, I consider Yoda to be an absolute outlier. The dude's like 2 feet tall. So when he launches himself at you, it's unlike any other attack you're gonna face, as well as he's one of the fastest characters we've ever seen in Star Wars. So it's like a little cannonball. This makes him very different from other characters, and we saw how limited it was for someone like Qui-Gon Jinn when he used it because, you know, the wear and tear, not as athletic as he was. So if you aren't that athletic or not that good of an acrobat, Ataru is going to be extremely limited for you and doesn't really have any defense. Now, number 5, I have Juyo. Why? I basically see this as just a stronger variant of Ataru. I favor this style over Ataru due to the more vicious, aggressive blade work. That is, Juyo doesn't have to subvert your guard. It can break through your guard too. However, Juyo doesn't really have any defense. It's more so you overwhelm your opponent, beat them down, destroy them. If not, if they can weather it, you're gonna be in trouble. Number 4, I actually put Niman. A lot of people think Niman sucks. However, I understand it isn't great at any one thing, but it is a pretty conservative and balanced style across the board. You have a little bit of everything. It provides variance, but I can't put it higher because it lacks excellence in any one thing. So you could be a very smart and capable fighter with this, and you can adapt to a lot of situations, but you're not going to be great enough to overwhelm anyone or to really expose anyone. Number 3, I have Sarisu. Why? Well, this is the absolute blade perfected defense. However, it has 0 offense that it brings to the table. You pretty much win from outlasting your opponent and then just easily striking them down. Obi-Wan Kenobi's offense actually didn't come from Sarisu. He was a very great duelist, ultimate master of Sarisu, but he learned Ataru is actually very good at it beforehand, as well as Shicho, and so in between using Sarisu, he would lash out with strikes from those forms. So that's where he got his offense from. So you only capitalize after you stalemate them, basically. You just gotta outlast. Number 2. Now, the last 2, I feel you can switch out. I understand arguments for both, but this is my opinion. Now, number 2, I have Jim-So. Why? This is solid defense with mighty counters. Footwork is kind of stiff, though, and it can be exposed from another fighter. You don't have the best of movements. The reason Anakin was amazing with Jim-So and the reason he beat Count Dooku is he did blend Ataru with it. He made up for the Jim-So lack of footwork with Ataru footwork and Ataru acrobatics. So he kind of had a hybrid form. It wasn't just pure Jim-So. Now, Count Dooku said he's the best Jim-So user. Yes, in practice, like the defense mixed in with counters, but the Ataru made it a lot faster as well. So Jim-So is very good in that it has defense and then very strong counter attacks. But if you're a patient and intelligent fighter, you can find a way around the Jim-So, especially if you subvert the counters. Number 1, I put Makashi, or Makashi, however you want to say it. Why? This was strictly made for one-on-one lightsaber combat. When you go out with Makashi, you have arguably the best stamina out of all of these, just because you're limiting your movement. It is very precise and very deadly, a fencing style where you slide attacks off from you. So you come in with cleaves, overhead strikes, whatever. You kind of use your wrist flick to subvert the attack, get in with your stabs, get in with your quick strikes like a Viper. And if you honestly go out and practice all these forms in just that form, Makashi gets through a lot of them pretty easily just because it's very straightforward, very solid practice of footwork. It's like a dancer footwork with your fencing to where you're pushing your opponent back, but you're not overextending in any way. And you're constantly forcing them to guard, usually their torso, but you can lash out at the limbs and catch them by surprise. And it's surgical and it's made for one-on-one combat. Anakin was like a crack baby when he went in on Dooku. Dooku was old. That's why he wore him down with it. Jim-So is still very good, and I can understand why people put it at first, but Makashi to me, the surgical Viper style, I favorite it over all of them. Anyways, let me know what you think. Tell me how you would rank these down below. Again, I am considering it from you can purely only learn one form, and it's not just me going based off fighters that used it, because a lot of times those fighters had special circumstances. Anyways, join my Patreon, support my channel, donate if you can. Look at all the perks it comes with. That will be in the description, as well as join my Discord to talk to me, hit me up. Like, subscribe, comment. It's been your boy Sir Splash, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.